Well, welcome everyone to our first virtual event of 2022. We are so excited to see old faces and new faces, and we're really glad that you were all able to join us today. So, as you can see, we're going to be talking about how industry-leading organizations use Archibus Homepages and metrics and how they can see their data more quickly and really filter down to the things that they need to see quickly on a daily basis. Our agenda today is pretty straightforward. We're going to have some quick introductions to our panelists. Then we're going to have Bob give an intro to what homepages are if you're not familiar with them. And then we're going to go into our panel discussion where Bob and the panelists are going to ask questions of each other and talk about the benefits that they get. And then we'll open up a few minutes to the audience so that you guys can ask your questions. And then we'll have a short conclusion. Let's introduce our panelists. First up, we have Jessica Surprenant from California ISO. She is a facilities analyst. Jessica, would you take a few minutes and introduce yourself real quickly?
Thank you, Veronica. My name is Jessica Surprenant, and I work for the ISO. I am the facilities analyst, and I use Archibus, Smart Client, and Facilities View on a daily basis. Thank you.
And we have Heather Petit, who is a programmer analyst from San Bernardino County. Heather, would you introduce yourself real quickly?
Yeah, hi. I'm Heather Petit. I worked for the county for 22 years, and I currently work for our real estate facilities management group, where I maintain the Archibus system, and they use everything from building operations to the real property and leasing management.
Awesome, thanks so much. And then we have Bill Rice, who is a project manager at Western Digital. Would you introduce yourself real quickly?
Yep. I am a project manager at Western Digital, and I have a variety of roles, special projects, some operational roles, and what I'm really excited about and happy to share this with you today is getting our CAFM going. We had 2 CAFMs at 2 different legacy companies, and now we're on 1 CAFM, and it's become a mission-critical system for Western Digital.
Awesome, thanks so much. And we have Bob Stevens, the CEO of, excuse me, of RSC. Bob, would you take a second and introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. Yes, thanks, Veronica, and thanks for all the panelists for being here. Many of you know me, Bob Stevens, the CEO of RSC. We've been in business for 22 years. Our core competency is Archibus, and I'm excited about today's presentation on homepages.
So I will turn the time over to Bob now to give his introduction to homepages. Bob, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Veronica. Yes, one of the things we need to understand about homepages is that basically they're set up for 4 activities. Metrics, and metrics help us to identify anomalies, right? Things that we may need to want to identify that's out of conformance, whether it's headcount, too high, too low, whether it's work requests not being achieved or quickly being achieved, and then we can react to that. Trends is the same thing. We want to identify adjustments that need to happen in trending. So are we moving in the direction we want it to go or not? Each of these metrics and trends have color codes. They're in green, yellow, or red that you set as a threshold. The third thing is alerts. Alerts are also color coded. And the alerts can be anywhere that a lease option is coming up in the next 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, or whatever way you want to set it, or there is a work request or too many work requests in the queue, or this one's been too long, or an alert that a move project's coming up. So there's lots of things that can happen on the home pages for alerts. And then finally, reports. And those reports are just standard Archibus reports that can happen on the home page. You can see graphs, forms, data, and all that type of information. The basic reason for a home page is to provide a very high level, quick to see and analyze set of data within the Archibus application. Next page, please. For those of you who would like to, we have a knowledge base here at RC we've had in place for a couple of years now. We have a QR code that will take you to this URL, and it will have pictures of each of the home pages that Archibus has. Archibus has at least a dozen home pages out of the box. And so if you want to scan this QR code, or you can go to this URL to our knowledge base, and we'll have a picture and a description of each of the home pages. Tap, please. So here's a picture of a home page, and you can see all 4 pieces of information. So if you take a look at the top, we've got pictures of our buildings. We also have some data there. Active work requests in the 1000 Technology Park building is 14. Market costs were $1,000, and they have all that same information across all the buildings. We have arrows on the right or left, so you can actually scroll through every one of your buildings on the home page. Each one of these metric in the 4 areas below indicate the information that has been summarized within a metric. You can create your own metrics, and I believe there's something like 100 metrics out of the box. So we have indirect cost recovery for each of the buildings here. We also have service level agreement compliance in each of the shops, the availability of headcount within a building, and the facilities condition index if you're looking at real estate. So as you can see, they're color coded as well, and you can identify the colors you want and the thresholds that you want to use. If we look at the lower left, we can see the alerts. So for example, regulatory action due this week. We have 2 of those due. So this alert comes up on this homepage, and you can begin to see that you've got some action to accomplish. The large one in the middle are trending. You can see the slopes going up and down. You can also see the colors of the targets. So total cost of ownership, area per occupant, and each of these are drillable. If you click on any one of those colors, the data behind it will show up, so you can identify where the anomaly is. And then we have a chart here that's just pure data on service level agreement compliance is at 92. If you can click one more time. And here's the ones that are, here are the home pages that are delivered right out of the box. There are more than this, but I wanted to show you these. We have an asset manager one that will talk about asset management. We have an energy management dashboard homepage. Dynamic workplace is around hoteling reservations and moves. Environmental manager, lead compliance, incident reporting, COVID, all that kind of good stuff. Facilities manager, which is the one I showed you. The portfolio manager, which talks about real estate and property. And then I actually have 2 mobile ones that show the activity on the mobile, both for workplace and for work requests. And I believe this time now we're going to turn this over to Jessica to kind of show some of the things that they're doing at the California ISO.
Thank you, Bill. My name is Jessica Suprene, and I work at the ISO. And I personally use, like I said before, Archibus, Smart Client, and Facilities View every day. It's part of my job. And here's an example of a homepage. This is actually my homepage where I could glance at it really quick with the PM metrics, alerts, and total problems throughout the month. And it's a quick dashboard. I could also click on the reports that I use on a daily basis, open work requests. And then I have a favorite with my favorite reports. Once again, it's a quick snapshot in case a VP or manager asks questions, how many work requests are open, or how many surveys are completed, or how many new hires work requests have we completed, and I can give them an answer. For this month, we've done 6. So I like the home pages. It's a great dashboard.
We have a question real quickly. Ask if this session will be recorded. I believe it's being recorded. Let's make sure, Veronica, and we can distribute it after the fact.
Yes, it is being recorded, and we will send it to you in an email. It will also be available on our YouTube page and social media.
Okay, we have another question here. Are these part of the package, or is it additional package to purchase? The home pages and performance metrics are additional application within Archibus. It does not come shift with the core. So it would be like buying space management or personnel management these performance metrics and home pages are purchased. Some of them come out of the box, but some of them are purchased. One more question. Can you customize home pages based on your profile? Yes, and you'll see a lot of that today with our panelists. Okay, Jessica, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but there were questions.
No, that's fine. That's perfect. This is an example of my profile. I'm an administrator, so the three main points that I want to see on a daily basis are the performance metrics, the alerts, and the problems for the month. And like Bill said before, Bob said before, you get a quick snap, and then you could click on the link, and they'll give you the data behind it. So this is a great way to get that information out quickly. This is where I have my 4 areas, my reports, my preventative maintenance, assets, and work from home. Once again, if I have a VP asking me right now how many computers are issued out, I can go to work from home reports and then just click on and give them the information. And these are just examples of different metrics that you'll see. Addressing the question about can you set up different home pages? Yes, I've set up a home page for my director. So when my director logs in, this is all he or she's going to see. I did include my favorites in case they want to see what I see on a daily basis. But when he or she logs in, that's all they're going to see. They're only going to see what they've asked. So I've sat down with everybody and asked them, what do you want to see if I'm not available? Or what do you want to see on your homepage? So this is custom to my director. This is another homepage. This is custom for our interns. Interns, we use them to go into the weeds of our work system. So if I need help pulling data, cleaning it, scrubbing it, they have a little bit more access than the director. And once again, I just add my favorites just so they'll know what I look at on a daily basis. Security, we have another profile for security. They're pretty simple. They just want to know about parking permits, so I'm able to manage that. And once again, the feature about a home page is it's custom to their profile. They're not going to see everything I see, so I really like this feature. This is my VP profile. So they ask certain questions. Once again, it's custom to theirs. I do add my favorites, and they enjoy it because they know what I see. And if they have any questions, they could click on there and pull the data for themselves. And like I said, I really like the fact that the homepage gives you that dashboard of a quick snapshot of what's happening right there and there. Thank you, and I will give the floor to Veronica.
Awesome, thanks so much, Jessica. So I think next we will hear from Bill, and he'll run us through his home pages that they use at Western Digital.
Thanks, Veronica. So we're at this beginning of our journey using home pages. Historically, we had 2 different CAFMs. We selected Archibus. RSEs helped us get to this point. And when I say, well, that background is important because in the past, if someone wanted a report, they send an email, a VP or a director, senior director would send an email to an individual contributor, and that individual contributor would either go to the CAFM and run the report and then email it back, or worse than that, they'd pull something off a box or off their laptop, or dig in their email, have a meeting, verify the information. And where we've come, we have our entire portfolio in Archibus now. And SpaceView has been super popular for us. And people ask, how do we get information? How can we see this? And we give certain people access to Web Central But I talked to Bob about this before, is Web Central without a homepage can be a little difficult to navigate if you're not in the system all the time. And my analogy is it's like walking into Home Depot and there are no signs and everything's out of order, but things are in order. It's just not order you're used to. And that's why I like Homepages, because it's, as it said before, it's customized for the user. And in this case, for our lease users, oftentimes they're not in the system very often at all. They don't care about occupancy, head count. They don't care about space categories or type, those kinds of reportings. They're looking for one specific type of information. So this is the first group of people that we targeted, first group of users we targeted, is making dashboard. We made a role. We made a role for a lease reviewer. And then with that, we assign that lease review role to a user. And when they log in, they have this homepage. It's the lease homepage. And there's some bonus information over on the right. And Veronica, I believe that you want to, this is what I want to call attention to, what's over on the left, that lease report. Yep, that's it. I'm not going to go into more detail here, but this saves a lot of time. This saves us playing frisbee with emails, because people may ask for a certain report, you send them a report, and then a day later they say, well, that wasn't quite what I was looking for, when this is just a mouse click away. And in general, it's going to be what they want, because the report's customized, it's accessible at any time, and they're not distracted by having all that's available in Web Central. So that's the benefit we're getting from the home pages. We intend to do more of this, but this is our first success story. Veronica? Right, any questions that popped up? I don't see the questions, but I'll take questions, but otherwise I'll just pop it back to Veronica.
All right, let me see here. I do see some questions. Where is the metrics data pulled from? Example, number of open work orders, is it entered manually? Are you guys able to hear Bob? Bob, I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, hey, I was doing the read my lips thing. I had myself on mute. I was answering it really well, guys.
They know the answer is the metric information is in a top secret location that Bob's going to tell you about now.
That's exactly right. So when you buy the performance metrics from Archibus, it comes with a set of tables and fields that will allow you to pull any table within Archibus. So you can track the number of work requests that are completed, or number of work requests that are open, or number of moves, or number of assets you have on a floor. Any metric you want, your lease management, portfolio management, it's wide open. So, and then that stores it in that performance metrics tables, and then is displayed on the home pages, both in trendings and alerts and metrics. So in short, it comes with the performance metrics purchase. Let me go on up here. There's another question. Oh yeah, yep. Thank you. Let's see here. Next question. Can you clone share your homepage with others? Yes, you can. And Jessica actually showed that with her homepages. She has a VP homepage that she delivers the home to the VPs, but she also has that information on her homepages so she can view what they have. Jessica, that's true. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
Very good. Another question. Okay, no, not everybody's let me know that I'm not hearing that. All right. I don't think I have any other questions. Did I miss any, Veronica?
I see one other question from Ananta saying, I'm just trying to build an LLC or private limited. How can I find funding? How can I find a funding or financial partner?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what this meeting's for, but if we want to reach out to anyone after that, we can we can do this. This is really about the Archibus application homepages.
Okay, I think we will go on to Heather, if there are no other questions. Doesn't look like it. So Heather, take it away.
Okay. Okay, so this is our Deputy Director of Facilities Management's homepage. He has all sorts of reporting and stuff. You can see that there's the operations data. They use the operations data quite often to know how many hours the guys are spending in the shop, how many of their hours are productive, work requests that are 30 days or 60 days old compared to what they should be. We run into that quite often because our facilities group will wind up doing projects or getting projects from our CIP program where they just are held out there waiting to see if there's any need for their services. So the next metric or the next group that our deputy director looks at is the financial metrics. The financial metrics show quite a bit of information. The top one that they like to use is the court revenue. So a little background: prior to 1996, for a short time, I guess, or I'm not sure how long, the courts were actually run by the county. And back in 1996, the state took over the superior courts. So based on that, we had courthouses all over the place. The court essentially rents space from us and then pays us so much per year for maintenance on the courthouses. And so we have to make sure we're hitting those court revenues, and we do it more in a calendar year rather than a fiscal year. So, which is why the numbers look like there's a 0 there, because we haven't billed out anything for the courts yet because they do it on a quarterly basis. The next one would be our expected revenue. What are we expecting to get from our other county departments for work that we consider as billable, like hanging a whiteboard, moving a TV, those types of things. The final one that our deputy director is really interested in is our parts cost, is making sure that we're getting parts put on our work requests, and that we can charge out for those, and that we're bringing in the amount of money that we're spending out for those parts. I think, yeah. So this homepage here is one for our leasing agents and our property managers for a number of our county facilities. They are able to do their lease updates to, any changes to the lease, pull reports, know when their insurance is due, and those types of things. And then they also have alerts of what leases are coming due this week or this month, what options are coming due this week and this month. And I think that's it.
Okay, I'm going to go into a series of questions. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say the same thing that you were. Thanks, Heather, and our panelists. And now we're going to go into the panel questions. So, Bob, I'll let you ask this question.
Sure. Although I'm going to go back to a question that Ananta asked. So I think really what Ananta's asking is, can she track the number of partners that she's trying to bring on board to her company through Archibus? And I would say that that would be done through the portfolio manager and through project management. So I know project management, you think of Microsoft Project, but the project management in Archibus is actually threefold. It's actually capital budgeting. So in other words, you can manage the money that your organization has earmarked for whatever type of project, regardless of whether it's a construction project or a funding project or anything like that. The second thing is that you can then take that out to bid and gather the bids and make a decision and award a bid through the project management. And the third portion of it is that you can project manage that. So through the project management module in Archibus, you could track funding partners that you're dating or starting to work with as a partner. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so the first question I have for the panelists is, describe your favorite homepage feature.
This is Jessica. I could go first. My favorite homepage feature is the fact that I could put my favorite reports or the reports that I use on a daily basis without going through all the steps all the time. So I literally can click on what I want to see or what report, because it's already, what's the word? It's already formatted. And so that's all I have to do is click and then pull up the report and read the data. Thank you.
I'll go next. I come from a different side. I'm a programmer, so my favorite feature is that when I have brought recently a new staff member on board to help me out, is that I've been able to just hand her, who has no, she doesn't have any experience with programming, she's able to actually create the home pages and edit home pages through the wizard without having to have any special expertise.
For me, my favorite thing is getting people to the same source of information. So any user, for example, a lease reviewer or someone who needs information, they're getting consistent information from the same place, and it's repeatable, reliable information. So if they take this and they're using it for analysis, or if they're using it in a presentation, there's no conflicting information. And also, we can allow people in and restrict their access to other things, so they don't need to see other things. One is to confuse them, and also there's no reason to have everyone have a direct access to all kinds of reports. It's focusing users where they need to be and not relying on our team members to do analysis for them or to generate reports. The reports are generated, they're standard, they're always accessible.
Great. Before we go to the next question, we have a question from the audience. The question is, are there different flavors of the real estate sectors? Example, retail, corporate, industrial. Yes, in fact, actually, as you see on the phone here, we have a government agency with Heather, we have a utility with Jessica, and we have a manufacturer with Western Digital. And the real estate module, the portfolio module, will allow you to have tracking fields according to the real estate sector. So we can go into education, we can go into healthcare, like you said, retail, corporate, or industrial. I believe out of the box, it's something like 18 different sectors that you can track. So the answer is yes. Next question, there we go. All right, so what's the most important metric that you review, and how often do you review it? Let's go in the same order, Jessica, Heather, and then Bill.
Thank you, Bill. What's important? For me, on a daily basis, my favorite report that I've set up is an open request. So that's pretty much all the open work orders. And so I'm able to get, once again, a quick snapshot of how many is in the system for a specific time, and then I can reach out to the craft people and say, hey, this is old, or what's the status on this? So it's a quick communication tool that I use to email the craft people and find out what's status on a work request. How often do I review it? Every day. I review it every day, probably in the morning, afternoon maybe, but definitely morning and right before I leave. Thank you.
Again, I don't review metrics on I don't use the metrics. I'm the one that creates them for our users. But polling them, the most important one to them is the productive hours, along with how old work requests are. And they admitted they don't review it as often as they should, but they like to at least review it, every couple of days.
we're just beginning our journey on metrics, and that's why I chose to share the homepage release, because for our move managers and other roles, we're just beginning that journey. But it will be for occupancy, vacancy. We get that question a lot, and then simple reports. I'm not sure how this will pop up in a metric, but our mix of room categories. I know there's a question about our different industries represented. In Western Digital, we have a lot that's represented on one campus. Our Great Oaks campus has research facilities. We have physicists and engineers, researchers designing products. We have manufacturing. Our headquarters is there, so our executive offices, and this general support staff, our finance and sales folks. They're all on campus, and the question always comes up for different campuses and buildings is, what is the mix of room categories? What's our lab footprint? And who's there, and from what organizations? So that's what we're working towards, is reporting based on our organization and be able to show back to our management team or an HR. They can see total how many employees we have, and they can see total which division, how it rolls up in finance or rolls up into the org structure. But we're working on being able to show how that looks geographically, where people are distributed around the globe, and on a campus where are particular groups. That's where we're going, but we're on that journey right now.
Thank you. So the next question is going to be the same question, but it's going to be around alerts. So let's go in the same order. What alerts do you guys review, and how often?
Thank you, Bill. The alerts that I have on my homepage, the important one for me is the surveys. It gives me an idea of how many surveys are completed, and how often do I review it? Every day in the morning, and it gives me a snapshot. I've noticed that when we were on site in the building, the customer would fill out the survey quickly and more often. Now that they're working from home, we're only at 14%, meaning only 14% of the customers have been filling out the survey. So it gives me an idea. That's my favorite. Thank you.
Polling our leasing agents, because they're the ones that have the alerts right now. Their favorite is that their lease is coming due, or and one of the ones that they really want to get is that they have a rent change that's coming due. And they review those a little less often, because rent changes only happen once a year usually, and the leases coming due technically only come, they show up once the lease is about 6 months before the end of the contract, for them to start working on negotiations for an option. So
we're not currently using Homepages for alerts. We do have automated emails, which I think will integrate into a homepage somehow. But the way we do it now is this really quickly is, if people move between sites, the system automatically generates an email to people who care about that. And in particular, it's our environmental health and safety group. If people move between our campuses, because of the nature of what they do at different campuses, they need to have different training. And what was happening was, someone would have moved, like say from our Great Oaks campus, just 20 minutes away to our Milpitas campus. They had different requirements, but no one in HNS, our environmental health and safety group, was informed of that. We did an automation that automatically generates an email out every week if anyone moves between campuses. It's been super helpful. And I'm not, Bob, hand it back to you, but what's the next step? How do we go back to using Homepages for that? How would someone use that? And back to you.
Yeah. So basically what we would do is we would then identify what type of alerts you want on the homepage, and then we would go into the performance metrics tables and fields and set that monitoring up through the workflow rules. So if you wanted it tracked on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, hourly basis, and then it would snapshot that data so that we could get the trends or alerts. So we can go ahead and do that, no problem. I do have a question coming in. Question is, it sounds like a system developer or administrator can create custom metrics and add them to reports. Is that an accurate statement? It absolutely is, yes. There are several, I would say close to 100 metrics that come out of the box that feed these home pages. And I think all three of these companies have created their own metric to be able to track. I know at least Jessica and Heather has, and Bill, like he's indicated, is just on the beginning of this journey, but he's moving it forward very quickly. Jessica and Heather, would you agree? And Bill, would you guys agree with that statement that you can create your own metrics?
Yeah. The court revenue one that I mentioned during the display of the home pages is one that I created myself.
Great. I have a second question here. As a current situation and first stage for build super organizations as any industry, I'm not sure what the question is. As a current situation, can I have Anita? Can you just voice this question? Let me see if I can unmute you. I believe I unmuted you from your side. So Anita, can you unmute yourself and ask the question so we can understand what you're asking?
Thank you, sir. So,
yep, we can hear you.
You are hearing me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Yes.
Sir, I am asking about that. It's my first step to build an organization. So, which key points are the importance to develop our organization?
Very good. Okay. So it's different for each company, but I will tell you that historically, the first metric that most people keep is space. It is tied directly to AutoCAD and Revit. And so they can go in and catalog how much square footage they've got, what it's assigned to by division and department, where people are sitting for occupancy vacancy. However, over the years, I've had many people that had started with their labs, and they wanted to know what servers they had in what labs and who they were assigned to by VP. I've had other people that started with just work order without the space, and I've had people start with real property and lease management without space as well. But the majority of my clients start with space, and they usually have 4 applications. They usually do space management, asset tracking, work request or preventive maintenance and on-demand, and then oftentimes lease. And those are the 4 most popular ones within the application. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, Veronica, back to you.
Awesome. We'll move on to the next question, which is similar, but just about trends. So what's the most important trend you review and how often do you review it?
Thank you. For me, the most important trend I review is the survey once again, because they'll tell me that's how I was able to know. I noticed when we were in the building, the customers would fill out the surveys, and then when we weren't working on site, they weren't filling out the surveys. So it gave me a quick snapshot instead of pulling reports and I need that, this and this and this and equals and plus and setting up that metric. It's already there. So that's my favorite. I review it probably, like I said, probably once a day because it's already there. So thank you.
The trend probably that's most reviewed with us, I don't do it, but it's our deputy director of facilities and making sure that we're on trend for revenue. Because half of our budget is general fund, half of our budget is based on revenue.
For the WD team, it would be occupancy vacancy. You get conflicting responses back. What they can consider a full building, if it's 60%, oh, we're running out of space, but then you collect another building and they're 95% full, and demonstrating that, be able to demonstrate trends in buildings and comparing different buildings and sites in a dashboard format, in a homepage dashboard format is pretty powerful, and we're working towards that.
Great. I have a question from the audience again, and it comes from Ananta, who was asking about the key application started. He goes, which key point or steps are important for that or to roll out? So I know this may be a little bit of a vague answer, and I know that Jessica and Heather and Bill have all heard me say this. I will always ask, what are the top 3 problems you're trying to solve? And if I understand what those top 3 problems are, I can solve them. So for example, we've been working with Bill real closely over the last half a year to a year on that occupancy vacancy. We have a very solid move process. We've got a lot of we have all the AutoCAD drawings in, we have all the space in, and we're now moving into getting space captains on each floor to identify where people are sitting. And we're getting the HR department and the finance department to start to feed the financial departments and divisions into the application. So that's important to Bill. So that's his next steps. Now, when I work with Heather and Jessica, let's go with Heather. Heather's main application, even though they have multiple one, is the work order system. Right now, I believe it's parts for them, is tracking the parts in the warehouse and being able to know, what the inventory is. And is the inventory in the truck, right, instead of the warehouse? And how do I use a barcode to go and grab a count in the warehouse of my parts, how many filters I've got, how many nuts and bolts. And Jessica, I don't know if I know what yours is, but I would imagine it's basically just getting strong customer satisfaction on your work requests. In other words, having people are happy with the craftspersons and how they did it, because you have a strong survey that goes out. So those are the types of key points and steps that each of these clients of mine use. So my answer to everyone here is, it really depends on the things that you're trying to solve. Is anyone on the panel want to answer that for Ananta? Did I cover that okay? Anything to add?
Yes, sir. Yes, sure. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, Veronica, back to you.
Sorry, sorry about that. Okay, the next question is, do other roles at your organization have their own home pages, and if so, who, and what are the benefits that they've been able to gain from that?
Hi, thank you, Veronica. Like I said before, I set up home pages for specific roles, and I'll answer the benefit. The benefit is like what Bill said. They have, they can go directly to the report that they want to see, and it's the same information that I see and someone else sees, or the intern or the director. So it's the same information, but it's formatted just for their role. So I really like that about home pages. It's formatted for them, and they only see what they need to see.
Yeah, we have home pages for every role that we have, and the benefit for like our users, we have a bunch of users that all they do is look up utility information and submit work requests for our facilities group to do. So they have a very condensed homepage. But Bill made a mention about the fact that home pages allow it to be right there, right front, and you don't have to navigate through the process navigator for those types of users that have very little information that they need to get to. So we have home pages for every single one of our roles.
Bill, do you have anything to add to this on the home pages by organization?
As far as Ananta's question about where to start, what's the foundation, or what was the,
no, the question is, do other roles have to have their own home pages in your organization? If so, who has their own home pages?
We're going to try to roll out more. I don't have a full vision of that, so I'm not going to really share at this point, but lease is already rolled out. Then it's going to be for our managers, our decision makers, so they're always getting information from the right place and not going to our individual contributors. As you know, everyone, when you're working, when you get distracted, and it's only a 2-minute distraction, it takes you 15, 20 minutes to get back into what you're doing. And my team, I have a small team. I have like 3 people now, and they're covering they call them the drawing team, but they also do other things. So they're move operations team, and they're doing test fits for designing spaces. So they have a lot of things going on. And when a SVP, senior VP, or a VP asks them for a report, they drop everything they're doing and they go into it. And so the goal is to get those decision makers into their own homepages that have pre-formatted reports and even visuals that they can copy and paste and use in presentations or in meetings. Ideally, my vision is to get people out of making presentations and get people out of sending each other presentations and having meetings and discussions in Web Central, in the homepage. So the data is there. There's no reason to copy, paste it, format it, email it, save it on a box, present it, WebEx. No, it's like, is everyone on the homepage? Okay, let's look at it. It's efficiency is the goal, and not using multiple systems.
Very good. We do have a question from the audience, a couple of them actually. So as we look forward to a more flexible occupancy model that leverages mobility and work from home, how are you looking at tracking space utilization differently and new top metrics? This is a great question. So what we're finding in almost every one of our companies is clearly work from home is a top topic. And there is a percentage in almost every company that will probably work from home from this point forward. And so we track that. We track that in a couple of ways. There is a out-of-the-box field within the employees table that indicates that they are a remote worker. And then also there's another field in the employees table that allows you to determine days of the week that they work. So RSC has always recommended to our staff that they track, are they seated? Are they a non-seated employee? Do we not know where they're at? We've now added remote always, and hybrid, which basically means they work from home certain days and other days. And that field, one of the fields in Archibus will allow you to go, they work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so I would say that your top metric would be percentage of work from home full-time, percentage of hybrid, and what days of the week. And then you may want to start looking at restacking your building to be more hotel and reservation friendly if you are active, highly active in work from home and flexible workspace. So those are things that we're seeing. Those are trends that we're seeing as top metrics. Second question I've got here is, oh, no, that was just a great comment. All right, Veronica, take it to the next question.
So do you use customized homepages, and what customization have you added? How does that make your life easier?
Thank you, Veronica. Do you use customized? Yes, I use it on a daily basis. What customization did you add? I added my open, like I said, open work requests. Does it make your job easier? Yes. Once again, I'm not going and clicking all the time. I just go quick to my source, click it, give the information, and save time, efficiency. Thank you.
For San Bernardino County, all of our homepages are customized. So everything that's been added are buckets that we've created or metrics that we've created, or I guess the scorecards. We've used some out of the box metrics, but the scorecards are all customized. It seems to make the job easier of the person using the homepage as far as tracking those metrics and trends and everything. From what I've been told, they enjoy them.
We're just starting our journey with homepages, but I imagine most of our homepages will be customized. I love out-of-the-box functionality. I think it's great. It's actually, I took a screenshot of the presentation, even though I had the presentation. It was just an instinct. I saw it. It's like, that is so cool, the standard functionality. But we're going towards custom homepages because each user's needs are so unique.
Awesome.
That was one of the important reasons why I put up the knowledge base, is that oftentimes as we create roles within the Archibus application, we get many of our users get tunnel vision, which is appropriate. They get tunnel vision on their activity, And we wanted to create the knowledge base so that people can understand that there are a lot of standard things in the application, COTS, which is commercial off the shelf, that many of our users don't know about. So the knowledge base was there to show all the home pages that are available just by turning them on. And we'll continue to do more of that.
Perfect. And that topic leads perfectly into our, I believe, our last question, which is, do you like that you can customize your home pages, or would you prefer to have more pre-formed out-of-the-box home pages?
Thank you, Veronica.
I have a comment.
Yeah, is this Mary? Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I have a comment because we do use home pages, and we organize our home pages by roles within the organization. And what we find is we do an analysis of ad hoc requests that come in. And if we have a bunch of ad hoc requests that come in, we identify them and see if they would be of benefit to the larger group or team in that particular role. And we have a standing bucket for customized requests. So that way we get less ad hoc requests because we have, we put them in our home page once we get the request, if you can understand what that, if that's clear, I don't know.
No, that's great. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Really good, really good. And that's actually part of the reason why we're having these, is that we can have multiple end users talk with multiple end users and how they work. This is a great discussion. Basically what I'm hearing you say, Mary, is that when you get a customized request, you make it a standard in your homepage, and that's a really great way to go at it.
Yeah, we make it standard, and it may not perhaps be at the level of the initial request, say I need it by, this department and this floor, but we make it interactive. So whoever opens that report can actually customize it or filter it to what they need. But then we don't have to service them all the time. We can just point them to that homepage.
All right, Jessica, Heather, and Bill started this question. So I wonder if we can continue with the answer for them.
I do like that it's custom. I could custom to the different profiles because every role is different. Not everybody needs to see the same information. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I like it's customizable because I like to make things simple. What happens a lot of times, the behavior is a manager thinks it's just easier to send an email to someone. It's like, no, it's actually easier. It's easier than sending an email to navigate to your homepage. The information's there, and that's why I want to make it customizable. Is just focus on the essential and really pare back, so there's nothing extraneous there, and they know exactly what they're looking for, and that's why I like it to be customizable.
Yeah, I
Hey, this
think
is
they're customizable also, but more so because it feels like we at the county, our guys we don't do it the same way as the out of the box reports will come. So we have to make adjustments. So as much as I would prefer to just be able to just say, here's a predetermined homepage, it's not going to work for us. So it does make it nice that we can customize it so that we can utilize that feature.
Hey guys, this is Jeff Ponder. I hope it's okay if I just throw a quick comment in here quickly.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So I have to jump off because I got another meeting. But before I jump off, I wanted to say that this has been great. I'm really enjoying what I'm listening to. Yes, customizations. I just want to throw two things out there from my experience. One thing is that home pages in conjunction with VPA security is a powerful feature that should be mentioned. And that is that you can create a home page, give the exact same home page to different to the same role at different locations. But if a person's VPA security only shows them data for their location, then that means that those numbers will roll up just specifically for what they need to see. So the top 5, for instance, problems at one location will show up for that person's based on his VPA and his homepage, and that exact same homepage will show the top 5 problems at a different location for a different person in that exact same role. The only other thing that I would throw out there is, and I know this might be is bringing in information from outside of Archibus. So therefore, if you have, for instance, an agency that has a SharePoint page or some other HR system, whether it be PeopleSoft or Lawson, and you wanted to bring a view in to your Archibus application homepage, there's a way to customize it so you can show some information right on the screen when a person comes in from another system, right on that homepage, so they don't have to leave Archibus. They get that information and then they go start using Archibus for what they need to do. That's all I got to say, guys. But thank you very much for inviting me to this. I'm going to jump off now. But you guys keep up the good work, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. We're right at the top of the hour, guys. So just kind of take a poll. We could go on for a few more minutes, or we can end it. I'd like to kind of open it up. If there's any quick questions, let's go ahead and ask those. But I want to be respectful for other people who have other meetings. Any questions from anyone? So if not, let's go ahead and sign off and say thank you for attending. We will get this recording out, and also the PowerPoint. I want to thank my panelists, Jessica, Heather, and Bill, for being here. And if any of you want to be a part of our future webinars, let me know, and we can get you on a panel and we can go forward. I'd also like to hear back from you on what kind of topics you'd like to hear, because we're more than happy to bring those topics forward. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Yep, bye. Thanks.
Have a great day, guys.